Welcome back. I've had a really shit week. I haven't had a shower. In fact, I stink right now. I really should have had a shower, but I felt like if I had a shower, I was just procrastinating to come and sit on and chat to you guys. And it's not even that I don't enjoy chatting to you guys, but sometimes when I've had a bit of a low week or a low day, I'm not feeling myself. The things that I want to talk about and, speak about, or even just general communication with people, anyone, nothing really comes out how I want it to. But at the same time, I feel like this is probably the best time to start talking, because hopefully other things will start coming out. I'm saying that now, I probably just set an expectation and this is all going to be a load of gobbledygook. I haven't said that in a long time. I can't really put my finger on it. I've had a big realization of taking life so bloody seriously. I always say to people, I don't take things too seriously, but I actually do. I take everything so seriously. I guess you could argue that's a good thing because you want to achieve things, but where is the fun in that? Everything being so serious. It's so draining. And so I've literally got up today. I went to the gym, which I've actually been really enjoying recently. But it's mainly even because of interactions in the gym. I've made some friends and it's been really nice. Just literally came back home and I just can't seem to get myself motivated, and it made me realise how much I have relied on motivation in the past to get things done. And it's just unrealistic. Motivation isn't the source of where you get things done. It just isn't. If you have motivation, then brilliant, because you've got that extra boost, but damn, where is it when I need you? I feel like it just hits you all at once. And what didn't help this week as well is that I'm in a position right now where I'm I really want to do stuff for myself, finally. I just want to invest in myself. Any bits of savings I do have, I just want to risk stuff. I want to put it into things that's going to help me and boost my future, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really know where I'm putting it, and I haven't. Until yesterday, I set up a little Etsy shop and I went to put my payment details in to confirm it, and I got scammed. And when I tell you, I find it so difficult to make a decision. That's one of my biggest downfalls, decision making, because my mind just goes to so many different places. A decision is just overwhelming my head. I'm oh my god, I could just choose this thing. If I choose this thing, then what would happen if I chose the other thing? Or maybe I should just pick that. No, actually, I've always been like it. Even vending machines, getting chocolate bar. My mum used to be Abby, it's a chocolate bar. If you don't get this one this time, you can get it next time. But I would still be there for so long, and I would get myself in such a state. I just found it so difficult. Even to this day, it's such a challenge for me. So at this point yesterday where I was right, put my payment details in for confirming my store and getting it all set up, I was I don't know, I feel uncomfortable about doing this. I was Abby, for goodness sake, it's an Etsy shop, it's got the Etsy logo, and you're setting up your own shop, so I'm sure they have to have some sort of authentication, or I can't, you know what I mean, authenticate, that makes no sense, authorization, maybe, I don't know, to go through it. I did it, and then they took my money. So yesterday I was just do you know what? I think it wasn't even just the fact that I got scammed. I think a lot of it was because it was such a build-up for me to make the decision on getting things done, finding that drive in me just to set up something for myself, and it's a tiny thing, for most people, Etsy shop, what? But for me, it's I've never sat down and done something like this, so to go through those motions of getting something set up and all for myself, on my own, and then having the decision to it was a big deal for me. And then it kind of just got taken. It was just am I just incapable of life? And obviously I'm not, and it makes me seem like I'm stupid. I'm not stupid either. I think that's one of the biggest things as well. I felt silly. I felt really silly. And I think in that moment, I was like, Abby, come on, look at the signs, look at the signals. And so, yeah, I started feeling like shit in myself. That made my mood down. And I have actually got the money back, which is amazing. But it wasn't about the money. It was about the emotions that led up to make that decision. And then for that to happen, I just felt really, silly. I think when you're in the place of pushing and pushing and pushing to get things done, and you're doing it and you're trying to find that motivation within inside you when it's not just there, and then things like that happen, I don't know, it can really like kick your like vibrations, I guess you could say. And I've realized recently that I am such a homebody. I love being at home, I love my own company, but I actually need interactions in my life. Like going to the gym and speaking to people is the highlight of my day right now. And that's pretty sad. That is pretty sad. Yeah, I've spoken about this in previous episodes of my podcast, because I've never been in this position before where I'm like, I actually think I'm feeling lonely. Which is really odd for me, because I haven't felt lonely in a long, long time. And it's not even like I can't go out and make friends, but this episode, I really want to talk about the constant pressures around life and navigating your 20s, especially your 20s anyway, because I feel like my 20s have been like my entire life. I'm coming up to 28 now, and that's almost 30, and I think there's this big pressure of, everything needs to be figured out when you're 30. But I'm telling you, if it comes to like the material stuff or the things on paper, like career, finances, family, relationships, all of the things on paper that people like tend to tick off or whatever, those things have not changed for me. Like I feel like I've stayed in the same boat. I've definitely grown so much more in my 20s. Like if I look back to even being like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, oh my God, I'm a different person. I am a different person. So I have gone through so much, and I've grown so much, and I've built a lot for myself in that sense. But I still have no idea what I'm doing, and that scares the shit out of me. And I think the last few days, I've been really reflecting on this a lot more. You see everyone else around you doing all these things and getting these things done, being in a certain place in their life, and you're not in those places. So it can kind of make you feel a certain way. But if I'm actually honest, I haven't consciously compared myself to anyone in their lives in a long time. I really don't. I look at people in their lives now more as an inspiration, I would say. Maybe 2 years ago it would have been very, very different. I say this wholeheartedly as well, by the way. Like a couple of years ago it would have been a case of seeing people having the things that I wanted and being like, and making me get down about it, or kind of putting me in a certain place. But now it's definitely more a sense of, this is really cool. This is okay. This is the kind of stuff I need to be doing. This is the kind of person I need to seek advice of. However, that being said, I think in general, having people around you that are doing really well, even if you see it in a positive light, maybe subconsciously impacts how you're feeling and how you're doing. No, maybe. I'm not sure. And realistically, the only pressure that we have is the pressure that we put on ourselves, of course. But if you actually think about it, you grow up and around you, you see your parents that have a family. Of course, they've got their children, and you've got all these families you see around you. Your friends' parents, they've got family. They all in their 20s, 30s, they've already got kids. They've already got their careers figured out. They're already financially there. You go to school, you go to college, you go to uni, and then you're meant to have a career, you're meant to get married, have a family. That's never, ever in my life resonated with me, really. I think definitely there's a huge impact of generations being different, of course, but if I actually think about when I was younger and trying to think about what I wanted to do, I've never really known properly. I knew I always wanted to be on stage, or I wanted to be in front of the camera. I was always such a drama queen, but I never saw myself ever like having a family and having kids like that. It's always been like the end goal. So it's always been a bit confusing to me. And I remember my brothers, they went to uni. Everyone went to uni around me, actually. And even when I was doing performing arts in college, I was like, uni doesn't feel right. Education doesn't feel right. I don't feel like this learning environment is even right for me. I kind of felt like all throughout school and in college that I was just kind of placed there. I was just placed there because everyone else was placed there. This was the right road to take. And that's not to say I don't think education is what you should get, because I think it's definitely beneficial. You learn people skills, you learn so many different things. But all throughout my childhood, again, it was just this constant, I needed to go to school, I needed to achieve results, I needed to learn things, I needed to do this, I needed to do that. But I always felt like I was just doing it because that was what I meant to do. And if I'm honest, I can't remember anything that I learned in school. I can't remember anything. If you ask me anything about equations, I've got no idea. Geography, give me a map, I would have absolutely no idea. The things I do remember are the things that I enjoyed doing, like art, painting, drawing, singing, and actually even business studies I really enjoyed doing, but we were only taught snippets of that. And when we were younger, and our families were bringing us up, things were so different then. My mum and my dad, they had a house. It wasn't nothing fancy, but they had a house. That's crazy. Now for me to try and get a mortgage, it's so difficult. There's like a financial crisis going on. My mum and my dad say it all the time, like, Abby, like, I feel for you. Don't feel for me. Just give me the answers. Ultimately, everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants something for themselves. Everyone wants that financial freedom. Everyone wants to be able to live their life and enjoy it. How do you live your life and enjoy it when you've also got to create that for yourself? People are now also, maybe I'm wrong in this, you can definitely correct me if you think otherwise, but generations like above us, like our parents and parents or whatever, maybe weren't as hungry as this generation is. Like, we are surrounded by creative people that are thriving, they're doing so much, and it's incredible. And there's also people out there that are just learning new skills all the time, and the possibilities are just endless. Whereas maybe generations above us were kind of more put into boxes, not out of any fault of their own, but like, it would be a case of, again, go to school, go to uni, get a job, get a family. It was more of just a path already laid out for them. And of course, if there were different ambitions that they wanted to do, they would do that as well. But I don't think it was as broad as it is now. Even things like mental health, there's so much going on now in this kind of world where people openly speak about mental health, and it's amazing. It makes you realise how diverse we all are. And imagine one person is wired one way, another person's wired another way. These people need two completely different things. Two completely different things means loads of different other options and possibilities and jobs and careers, because people are needed out there. So what I'm saying is, like, there's loads of pathways and opportunities because there's so much more in demand. That's not to say, by the way, that I don't want to have kids and get married. I do think about this now, like, all the time. It is like a little fairy tale, I guess, but that is my end destination. I don't see myself doing any of those things until I have kind of, I guess, figured my stuff out. Maybe that's me being narrow-minded. Maybe I need to be more open-minded with that. Don't get me wrong, like, if someone comes along and changes my mind, and that's that, but for the most part, like, I am so sure that something's going to happen down the end, especially kids. Mum could say to me, Abs, why don't you go find a rich man? I'm like, I don't want to depend on someone to give me all those things. As much as it would be lovely to have a partnership with someone where we can build, and I do have a bit of stability, that would be amazing for sure, but that again is never guaranteed. Anything can happen, and I don't want to be in a position where I'm literally on my own. I've got nothing for myself in terms of like drive and finances and anything in place. I need to have some sort of security that I have for myself before anyone else comes into the equation. So many people I speak to are so embarrassed and ashamed for living at home still. It's one of the things, like, oh, where do you live? Who do you live with? With my mum, with my nan. I'm like, don't be ashamed with that. Fun fact, actually. 40% of people in their 20s literally move back to their parents at least once. At least once. And I think it's pretty amazing if you think about it. The ability to go back into security to help you build whatever you need to build, or if you're not even building anything, even if you're not saving money or working, like, you have a safe space to just work on yourself and grow, and time to buffer. There's no rush in actually moving out and getting your own place and all of this. There is literally no rush. I think definitely it's good to have a vision, and it's good to have drive and have things that you want for yourself. But if I had the opportunity in environments that were suitable to move back in with my parents, I definitely would. I definitely would. And I just think if you're in that situation now where you can go back home, save some money, brainstorm some stuff out, give yourself 3 months, give yourself a year, whatever time you need, go and do it. Make the most of it, because it's not going to be around forever, that opportunity. Like, take it whilst you can. And most people that I know that have been able to get themselves a mortgage is because they have stayed at home in their family home until they were like late 20s, 30s, and they've been able to buy themselves something, or they would have just been so don't be fooled about what you see on social media. And that's not a bad thing, by the way, to say if you have had support from your family. That's amazing. That is amazing that you were been able to have that support. Coming back onto marriage as well, in 1970, the average age to get married was 21 years old. 21, that's like, I would have been married by now. No, like, that for me is crazy. But now, average age is about 31, which again is crazy to me. This is an average, but it does put it into perspective how much things have changed over the course of like 50 years. 50? Yeah, roughly 50 years. What I have realised as well, the more I worry about, am I doing the right thing? Am I going in the right direction? Oh, am I doing this right? Or, oh goodness, maybe I should have just tried this. Oh, Abby, you need to keep doing this. You need to keep doing this. As the more and more I do this thing of like questioning and putting pressure on myself and worrying about my future, the more I don't actually get anywhere, because those thoughts become more recurrent. Monday I'll be like, oh, Abby, you really need to go and do this. Because I'm thinking about it so much, it turns into procrastination. The procrastination then just holds off me doing the actual task, and I get out of my rhythm and my swing of things, which is one of the reasons why I just jumped on here before I even had a shower today, because I was just like, I say today, it's like 2:00. But I did go to the gym, so let me off. Yeah, because I was like, if I just go and have a shower, I'm just putting it off even more. It's not that I don't want to do it. The case of like, I don't know, if I start talking, am I going to end up pausing? Am I going to even have anything to say? And I've never planned my podcasts, really. Sometimes I might bullet point like one topic and just go off on a tangent, but I was like, I don't need to plan this, just sit down and talk, and that's what I'm doing. But yeah, the more I sit and I overthink and I put pressure on myself to do the thing that I want to do, and the more I end up procrastinating and not doing it. So I just think, like, if you're worrying so much right now about where you are in your life and you're not in the right place, or are you going in the right place or the right direction, the more you sit and worry about that kind of thing, the more you don't move forward, because you spend all of your time and your worries consuming those thoughts and nothing is taken away from it. I would much rather just sit in peace and not worry, and also not move forward, than not move forward and have all of these cluttered thoughts in my brain. So I'm going to take this advice for myself as well, because it makes sense to me. I hope you guys do too. Stop worrying so much about your future. Stop worrying so much about that, and just focus on the things that make you happy in the moment, because ultimately everything you do is going to be wrong. Like, you're going to, I don't know, one day you're like, oh, maybe I should have done some content this day. But maybe you would have done that content and you would have said, oh, maybe I should have used this time actually and done something different. I'm actually in a dilemma right now because I really want to travel. I'm in the place where I just want to go away. I need a new different environment. And I'm really ready for that change. It's been a fair few years since I've done that. And I've traveled a little bit, but I haven't really taken like a full-on leap. Like I've been away for like a month and here and there, and I'm just like ready to just do it. But I'm also in my head telling myself, am I traveling because I want to live my life, or am I running away from doing the stuff that I want to do because I just want to live my life? There's this whole big balance of live your life, go do the things that you love to do, but at the same time get your shit sorted out so that you can have a happy life when you're older. It's like, which one do you do first? There's this time pressure. Like, the unknown is scary, and I think sometimes you just got to take the leap. And I think for me as well, consistency is such a big thing in most things. Being consistent with a good habit that you've just picked up, being consistent with going to the gym, being consistent with literally going to bed at the same time every night, things like that. Like, it takes a while to build up, and as soon as consistency breaks, I find that quite a challenge, I guess. So I think I'm at a point where I'm like, I will either travel for a bit and just try and carry all of this stuff on that I'm doing right now elsewhere. That seems to feel right to me. I just keep thinking, what if I miss opportunities here? But at the same time, I can't think like that because that's limiting any other possibility to happen. I also know so many people that have been to uni and then they've gone into a job, but they've realised that this is not the job they even want to do, and they have literally restarted over. So if you're in a position where you're like, I'm in the same job, I've been in the same job for 10 years, 5 years, and I have no skill, I don't have any other experience. Trust me, so many people start from scratch over and over again, and you'll be surprised how easy it is just to get yourself in a different place and try something new. It seems daunting because I think for the most part, the people that have been in the same kind of job for a while, your brain is literally in this little bubble. I was in that bubble as well. I used to work like 9-to-5 jobs. I was in office every day, and the world of being like freelance was just, I didn't understand it. Like, I was like, how do you live like that? Like, I don't. But as soon as you're put in that boat of like having that freedom, and all of a sudden a couple of months have gone past and you've survived, and okay, like, you end up gravitating towards people that are also in that situation, and the possibilities are literally just endless. You can have a job and assume that that is the thing for you because it's all you've known, but it's okay to decide later on that actually, I don't love doing this anymore. Just because I know how to do it doesn't mean that this is for me. You can change at any point. You can switch it up. And keep remembering that this is your life. It's your life to rewrite however you want. Just because Jemima went and did the same thing and she's been succeeding and climbing up the ladder in a certain business doesn't mean that's something you need to do. Just because it looks appealing from the outside, it might not resonate with you. And when it comes to resonating with things as well, I'm a big believer in putting yourself out of your comfort zone. I think it's important to. If you don't grow. Like, if you learn a new skill, you don't have it to start off with. You have to go in and be crap to start off with. And I think people get scared of going in and being bad at the thing, and then they give up because they're not good. But like, how do you think you're meant to get good? You just keep doing it. You keep practicing. And that being said, with being out of your comfort zone, I've had a bit of a weird thing with this recently, because sometimes I'm like, I'm uncomfortable, so this must be a good thing, but actually not all the time. I think being out your comfort zone is very good if you are challenging beliefs that you've had and you want to see a different perspective, or you're trying to overcome something. Challenges are good if you're in a position where you're growing, you're learning, or something that used to scare you does not scare you anymore, or you have a fear of something you're trying to overcome. That's great. But if you're in a situation where you're like, I really dislike this feeling, am I actually doing this because I feel like I should be doing this, but it isn't actually serving me? You're okay to take yourself out of that situation. Don't stand up in front of people and do something that someone's told you need to do because you think you should do it. If you're like, I don't want to do this thing, Doing this thing isn't something I want, that isn't going to serve me. I'm actually doing this because I think you want me to. That's not, that you're being out of your comfort zone because you're not comfortable with being told what to do. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a different thing. So I think if you're trying to push yourself and thrive, definitely try and tune in to what your body is telling you, and ask yourself, is this thing that I'm doing gonna help me overcome something that I fear? Is this thing gonna help me learn? Is it gonna help me grow? Is this something that I've always wanted to do but too scared to do? If it's those things, go for it. If it's something you're gonna learn a new skill in, go for it. I just think life is too short. You kind of just gotta think, fuck it. Doesn't matter if you think you look silly. People are gonna forget in 2 minutes afterwards anyway. And plus, you will grow from that experience so much more. The more you actually make a fool out of yourself or embarrass yourself, the stronger you get as a person because you tend to care less. 20s suck. 20s, I have been trying to unlearn all of the things that I have learned coming up to my 20s. Like I thought I needed to look a certain way to be able to do this, that and the other. I thought I needed to have a career. I thought I needed to have a partner. I thought that to be a singer, I needed to sound like this. I thought that to be a successful podcaster, I needed to have this, that. I thought, I never would have done any of these things if I had the same mindset as I did when I was like 15. Like I never would have done it. I had to unlearn all of the beliefs that I've had. I only started like really singing and getting on my podcast like a year ago. It's taken me years to unlearn the things that I did about myself and what I thought I had to be to start doing the stuff that I wanted to do. And it's a process. I'm definitely not there, but I'm doing the stuff. I'm doing it. I'm feeling hopeful about my 30s. And again, without trying to put too much pressure on being 30, because again, it's just a number. It is literally just a number. I just think if we can navigate ourselves and really understand ourselves and use our 20s as just trying to find out who we are, try and relearn the things that we love doing again, let go of caring so much what people think, relearning the beliefs that we have. If we can focus on that in our 20s, imagine the person and the experiences that we can have when we're in our 30s. That's the outlook that I'm going to have of it, because I've come so far in terms of personal development in the last 10 years. So my 30s better be good. Otherwise, I want a fucking refund. And another thing, there is literally no timeline. You can't have the same timeline as someone else because you have done different things to that person. Someone might have fell in love at 18, got married and had kids, and that was amazing for them. But at 25, they got a divorce because they don't love that person anymore, and that's okay. You could have that, but that could happen in your 40s. It all happens at the right time for you. And I think we need to stop seeking guidance from external factors, because external factors have their own story, their own lines. Own story, own lines. I don't really know what I'm talking about anymore. We've just got to start doing what we want. Doesn't matter about anyone else. If you want to go out and do gymnastics, go and do gymnastics. You don't need to ask Jason if it's okay to do. Ultimately, if we actually think about the external people around us and we're like, oh my God, that's cool, that's amazing, that's probably because that person is doing the things that they want to do. So instead of copying what they're doing, let's create our own version of that. And that starts with trying to relearn again what it is you love doing and forgetting about looking foolish, forgetting about worrying about our future, forgetting about having to be somewhere at some sort of time and done this amount of work or achieved all of these targets by this time. It's all great to have goals, but if all you're doing is focusing on the goals, you overwhelm yourself. You don't get there because you're so focused on the end goal. And end goals don't happen overnight. This is the process. This could be in 10 years' time, 5 years' time. Again, no timeline on it. But it all depends on the little steps you take in between. And if you're not enjoying the process, then what's the point? How is the goal going to be that satisfying if getting to that goal was miserable? You probably end up giving up. And actually, that makes sense. A lot of people don't achieve their goals because they give up, because they're not enjoying the process. Light bulb moment. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Pep talk with Abby. I hope this has kind of like helped some of you guys. It helped me actually even to talk this through, because I've been in a bit of a pickle and a bit of a bubble, and sometimes that's all I need to do is chat through with you guys. So I appreciate you listening, as always, and I hope you are good. I don't know what I was going to say. There's like there's like random phrases that you just chuck in, like, hi, hope you're well, have a good day, have a great day. And it's like, how dare you tell me to have a great day? If I have a great day, I'm going to have a great day. Don't tell me to have a great But it's just like phrases. But yeah, have a great day. Please subscribe, please follow, please like, please comment. And yeah, please share as well. I'm not reaching many people with this podcast, and I really want to reach more people, because if I can just help one or two people with certain things or similar topics, then that would be incredible. So yeah, please reshare, please follow, please subscribe, write what you think, let me know what you'd like me to talk about next. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Bye.